I'm thankful to Dr. Meena Misra and the organization which she belongs. I am grateful to the management that they thought of inviting me to share my experiences with the students they've enrolled for internship. I welcome the students who have recently joined for 240 hours internship in psychology. The organization which we have joined is the only organization in this country which is doing a good work in application of psychology for the service of the human being. I have seen the psychology of mid-19th century and I am seeing the psychology of 21st century. In the mid-20th century psychology, anyone who has even not cleared BA can get admission in MS Psychology. Professor in psychology have been watching the student, and anyone who is interested can come and join. But nowadays, the scenario has changed. No one can join like this. He must have high marks in BA, only then he will be allowed to join MS Psychology. This is only because nowadays psychology has become a professional science. I define the psychology in 2-3 sentences only. Psychology is science of all the sciences. Psychology is science of all the sciences. Is it visible? Psychology is science of all the sciences.
A little bit closer, sir, or maybe we'll share it later on with the students.
Okay. Psychology is science of all the sciences and subject of all the subjects. In all subjects, psychology is being taught in one way or other. And in medical specialty, in all departments, in all specialty, psychology is a must. And its services are required everywhere, wherever human being exists, whether it is above the sky or below the sea. Wherever human being exists, its services are required. The aim of psychology, only one aim of psychology, optimization of potential and maximization of functioning of individual. This is the only aim. With this aim, all of us are working. And probably all of you might be knowing, Whitner around the end of 19th century used the term clinical psychology. Whitner, around the end of 19th century, used the term clinical psychology. For him, the clinical psychology was applied to indoor admitted patients only. Clinical psychology means application of psychology only for those who are admitted in psychology, who are admitted in hospital. और किसी के लिए psychology का इस्तेमाल नहीं होता था. Slow and slow, the area broadened, and nowadays we have outdoor, in hospital, outdoor department of psychiatry are there. Community medicine, community psychiatry, community psychology services are there. Tele-services are there. And everywhere, wherever human being exists, psychology services are available to them. Uh, I have three sentences which you can hear to me and enjoy. One sentence is adding life to years and adding years to life. This is one complete sentence with two clauses, adding life to years and adding years to life. The psychology purpose is adding life to years, and the medical man strive to adding years to life. This means with medicine, with surgery, longevity can be increased. For psychology, longevity is less important. Pleasure in the life is more important. So psychology is important to introduce the pleasure in the remaining life of the individual. The second sentence I have developed is living to eat, eating to live. I read it again. Living to eat, eating to live. जिंदा रहने के लिए भोजन जरूरी है. दूसरा पहले का मतलब है जिंदे ही हम मौज मस्ती के लिए हैं. तो मौज मस्ती लाइफ के अंदर भरते हैं, इतना क्रेज भरते हैं कि हम स्ट्राइव करने लगे जीने के लिए. एंड थर्ड सेंटेंस आई हैव डेवलप्ड इज dying to live, living to die. The last clause, the second clause meaning is living to die. We are alive till death comes. And the first sentence is dying to live. We are desperately trying to live for a longer period because there is a pleasure in the life. To search pleasure in life, to add pleasure in the life. Two things are important in psychology. One is assessment, another is treatment. Treatment in the sense of counseling, psychotherapy, guidance, and assessment in the sense of personality assessment, intellectual assessment. Without assessment, we cannot understand how much potential this person had from the birth and how much of the potential are being used. When we know this thing, only then we can optimize the functioning of the individual. Psychology variously defined by different persons. But nowadays, psychology is a constellation of only three things: cognitive, cognitive, affective component. Psychology is a constellation of cognitive, cognitive, affective component. And so is the personality. Instead of using the term personality, probably we can use the term psychological makeup of the individual. When we say psychological makeup of the individual, this will again include three things only: cognition, cognitive, and affective. And if you remember the definition of intelligence given by David Wexler, he defined intelligence a global capacity to think rationally, act purposefully, and deal effectively. Again, you will find three components are there. Rational thinking, this is cognition. Act purposefully, this is cognitive. And deal effectively, this is a affective component, emotional component. So psychology is only three things: cognitive, cognitive, affective component. There are many psychological instruments to assess these three things: cognition, cognitive, affective. But Rorschach is the only instrument. Rorschach is the only instrument that can give you some idea about all the three aspects of psychological makeup of the individual, and therefore we have started calling Rorschach ink blood test as a test of psychological makeup of an individual that will give us how much cognitive ability he had, how much cognitive potentials he had, and how much effect component he had in each control system, and how much he is using it. If it is used lesser than the available potential, then through counseling process, through psychological means, we will try to optimize the available potential so that he can utilize his potential for the services of the human being and for his own services. Rorschach, you might be knowing, was developed by Hermann Rorschach, who was a psychoanalytically oriented psychiatrist. His father was a school teacher teaching art. Art teacher. His father was an art teacher. And therefore, he became interested in the art, saying that it is the art, it is a drawing that can help us to understand the imaginative capacity of the human being. And therefore, he started using drawing for assessing personality. And what he has been doing, he used to spread ink from the fountain pen. I do not know how many of you are aware of fountain pen. So he used to spread ink from the fountain pen on a paper. Spread the ink like this on the fountain paper, fold it from the center, show it to his classmate, class fellow, friend, asking there what it looks like. And therefore, his friend used to call him Klex, K-L-E-X, Klex. Klex means drawing. तो उसका नाम ही हमने Klex रख दिया, उसका नाम ही हमने drawing man रख दिया. And from these drawings, he developed a Rorschach psychodiagnostic ink blood test. I'm saying this was psychodiagnostic ink blood test. So this means there are two terms, psychodiagnostic and diagnostic. Psychodiagnostic means a profile of human being about its assets and liabilities. Profile of assets and liability of an individual, or a profile of what are the good points and what are the poor points in each personality, temperament. And diagnosis means diagnosis is a conclusive term. Psychodiagnostic is a descriptive term, is describe the person in terms of his assets and liability. And diagnosis is a conclusive term, is describe the person in single word, or at the most, two words combined together. Diagnosis is used by the medical man, looking at the profile of assets and liability. For example, in a psychiatrist through interview he collects history of the subject and come to know what are his assets, what are his liabilities. And based on that assets and liability, he say he is suffering from this illness.